TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Dickie Slater is like he's like a Terry Funk clone, and I'm sure that he would probably tell you the same. But what Slater did is he watched Funk the way I watched Morocco, and that style, that's where he got that style from, and then I'm sure he learned from other guys. But Slater was one of the hardest working guys that I worked with, and I worked with him in the Florida territories, and I worked with him in the Mid-Atlantic. And yeah, one thing about him, man, I mean, he was there. If you if he hit you, he whacked you. So I found out pretty early on, that this isn't tap dancing. we call them potatoes, and I'm sure that everybody knows that already anyway. But man, he would wax you, and you know about it. You know about it for about 3 days when he hit you. I worked with Nikita. He was one of the first guys that I think that it might have been a tester match. I don't know, because they turned. I think how Dusty did the thing with Magnum, Terry Allen, is that he turned Nikita babyface right after that, to fill that hole. So I hadn't been there, a very long time, and I didn't know him, and he worked his gimmick even with the boys.
Right.
He'd talk. He didn't want anybody to know his real name. And he was working all the time. And talking the fake Russian talk and everything. And man, he was stiff in the ring. He was just, everything was, the Road Warriors had a reputation, for being able to lay out. But Nikita, man, he was, he was rugged. He was a big, strong guy, but he still had working ability, but he was just a big, strong guy. And he was, like I said about a couple of the others, that you've asked me about, when he hit you with something, you knew it was there.
And when you came back, were you supposed to be the Scorpion, the Black Scorpion?
No.
No, okay. That was later anyway, so. Then Sid was a Horseman at the time, I believe, Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, Sid is one of those guys that, Sid is such an impressive person. His ring ability, at that time, was still a little rough, because one of the Horsemen, but he's so impressive, and I mean, when you look at him, people just, geez, look at this big guy. But Sid is really, he's a soft-hearted guy, but he's got a reputation,
Right.
about like I do. If he doesn't like something, he's flighty.
Right.
He'll leave at the drop of a hat. So that's the way Sid is, and I never really got to be friends with Sid, just because of, not really being around each other. But Rotundo, who is one of my best friends, is great friends with Sid. So I'm sure, that we could have a friendship. There was just never, never a way for it to take place. But I worked with him a lot, and I enjoyed working with him. It was okay. It was kind of, if it was a dance,
Right.
then he was stepping on my toes. But but he learned, and he's made a lot of money, and he's done well. He's taken care of himself. So.
TitleMatchNetwork.com.